Peace and namaste, and welcome to Not Church Today, the Gospel of Thomas, saying 25, and a talk titled Good Karma, How to Love Others Like Your Own Soul. But what if I don't love myself? We'll get to that today, too. Not Church is mysticism in the public square, no doctrine, no dogma, no bravo, Sierra, because YouTube doesn't let me say bad words, which aren't really that bad. We've been working our way through the Gospel of Thomas for some time now. Now, if you've never read it and you've never heard of it, you can take a look at the link in the description below, and you can find a link to all of the Gospel of Thomas. It's totally worth taking a look at. And once you've understood the Gospel of Thomas, you will never look at the mystical Jesus as you have in the past. Suddenly, his words sound different through that lens. I'm Peter Panagore, MDiv from some school, a near-death experiencer, scholar, storyteller, ex-mainline reverend, ex-TV broadcaster, and not a believer. Jesus wasn't a believer, and he wasn't a Christian either, but he wasn't a believer. He wanted to help us, to help his disciples, to become experiencers, to know rather than believe. And I want the same for you. So move beyond belief into an experience. That's what this is all about here. Yeshua said, "Love your sibling like your own soul. Look out for them like the pupil of your eye." Okay, Jesus, another simile? Like? Yes, another simile. Because mystics only speak in simile and metaphor, and Jesus uses a simile as a comparison. It is like this, or it is as this. And there are only two forking ways to talk about the ineffable, through metaphor or simile. That's it. And today, it's a cork and simile. First, I want to welcome all the first timers here this morning. Please let me know if you're here. I'll take a look over here at the chat for a second. Hey there, everybody. Let's see who I haven't said hi to. Aster, Diana, PL, Kevin, Brother Ed out there in OK. Palladium's Triumph. Yes, it's nice to see you here. Hey, Luana. Thanks, everybody. I'm glad you're all here today. This is not church, and what we do here is mysticism. So we start with 3 chants of Om, and then we have a few quiet moments together in centering prayer, and we use a single word for a chant. And if you've never meditated before, may I just simply suggest the word beloved, and you breathe the word beloved in your nose, down into your belly, and then follow your breath back out again, breathing beloved out your nose. Blowing the beloved out your nose. I never thought of that before, but that's kind of funny. So what we're trying to do here is channel the cosmic energy of the divine source together. That's really what this is all about. It's what our church is actually for. It's all about Shakti and Shakipat, the divine energy transfer between us to grow the I am, where the 2 or 3 are gathered. I am there. This energy can be experienced, is experienced. Centering prayer is just simply more profound in a community practice. That's why we practice together. So you can follow your breath. Let's begin. 3 ohms, 5 breaths for centering prayer, something like that. Into your belly, fill your lungs. Centering practice, belly breathing. Relax. Good karma. How to love others like your own soul. Thomas 25. Yeshua said, love your sibling like your own soul. Watch over her like the apple of your eye. Now, a little history might help here. This idiom, apple of your eye, I'm sure you've heard it before. Oh, she's the apple of my eye. This idiom, apple of your eye, first appeared in print in the Old English translation of the Latin Cura, a treatise on the responsibilities of the clergy written by Pope Gregory I. The term entered into the biblical translation in 1611 in the King James Version. Following its first appearance, this is how literature influences scholarship. It appeared in 1611 in King James, following its first appearance on stage in William Shakespeare's comedy, A Midsummer's Night Dream. And if you've never seen this particular performance of A Midsummer's Night Dream, this particular play, it's totally worth seeing. And it's completely understandable, even if you've never read Shakespeare. But in the play, Cupid's love arrow struck a flower, suffusing it with a magical, love arousing potion. The fairy, Robin Goodfellow, obtained the flow of the drops of the juice into a he poured the drops of the juice into a young sleeping man's eyes, saying, flower of this purple dye, hit with Cupid's archery, sink in the apple of his eye. The apple of his eye. The phrase apple of my eye, what it really means is in our vernacular. It means someone that's cherished or something that's cherished above all others, that which is cherished above all others. And who among us doesn't cherish their eyes? The apple of the eye is the pupil of your eye. It's the most cherished thing. It's the center of your eye. It's that aperture where the light enters in. It's where the light enters into us. The apple of the eye in this reading in Thomas is the aperture of your eye. It's the pupil. Yeshua said, love your sibling like your own soul and look out for them like you look out for the pupil of your eye. You don't want something stuck in your eye because it ruins your sight. So you take good care of your eyesight. So do you love yourself? If you do you always love yourself? Now, I'm going to confess here that I've not always loved myself. There are days that I berate myself for things that I do. But that's not what Jesus is talking about. He's not talking about my physical self. He's not talking about my little cute cheeks here that my grandmother used to pinch. No, he's not talking about me. He's not talking about you. He's not talking about your physical self. Notice here that Jesus doesn't tell us to love ourselves. That's not what he's saying. He says, love your own soul like the aperture of your eye. Love your soul. Love your higher self, not your physical self. This isn't about loving me, myself loving me. It's about me learning to love my higher self as much as I love the aperture of my eye through which light enters my body, which is also, and I love Rumi for this, where the light in your eye is with that which when you see the light in someone's eye, you see the light inside their soul. It's through the same lens. You see the light inside them, it comes out the aperture of the eye. The light of the physical world goes in the eye, into the body, into the brain. Actually, I'm pointing to my heart, but and Rumi talked about that, and I can't give you the direct quote. It's on my Facebook wall. Love your higher self. But how do we do that? And we're going to get to that. We did that a little bit today in our meditation. That's part of the process of loving yourself, but we'll get deeper into that. Now remember, Jesus taught his disciples from his own mystical experiences. He didn't pull these things out of the air. He experienced them. He's an experiencer of mystical transformation. That's what makes him a powerful mystic. This is what he meant. He meant, I love you with the same love I love my own soul. When he says to love your sibling, and person isn't just my sister and my brother born by the same parents, but anybody in my relationships, I call lots of people brother Ed. I call brother Ed brother. He calls me brother. I call lots of people sister. Love your sibling as you love your own soul. That's what he's saying here. It's the same love. There's an equality of love. In as much as you love your own soul, you love the soul of others. That's the way it works. I've said this a gazillion times. The light sees the light. The love loves the love. Who was it? In Ulysses by James Joyce. Love loves to love love. Love loves to love love. It's equal love. When the measure of the love you have for another is actually the measure of, in terms of spirituality, is the love that you have for your own soul, because it's the same thing. It's not a separation. So how can this be? Now, ever since I had my first NDE, I experienced myself as a probe of the infinite field of divine energy. I am in this body as like a probe in the world of the infinite love itself, an inescapable and inseparable part of the whole. I have never been separated from the divine ever. Neither of you. Nobody has. I've never lost my awareness of the separation of the divine since the day I came back. And in this unity, I love myself. And it's not me, Peter, that I love. I love my soul self. I love the divine self. Love your soul. When you love your soul, you love yourself. And you will cherish all of your relations as much as the light shines in you. Do you love other people in your life? It's because of the love from above. Do they love you? It's because of the love from above. Do you love your dog or your cat or the trees or the birds? Do you love the sunset? Do you love pizza? All of this arises from the divine love. But more so, much, much more so, when you love your own soul as yourself. As much as the light shines inside of you, you see the light inside of others. That's how it works. We all see by degrees of blindness here in this darkness of the world. It's degrees of blindness. How much light does the light do our eyes pick up? You know, the human eye sees by the amount of light that enters it, and we don't see in the ultraviolet or the infrared. But we do see the visible light, and as much light as enters into our eyes, that's how much we see. The same is true for the soul eye. Inasmuch as the light is inside your soul eye, you see the light outside you. When you love your sibling as yourself, it's in proportion to the amount of light you see inside yourself. It's that simple. The soul's eye sees the amount of light within. The more light you see within, the brighter your love for your higher self, capital H, your higher self, and the greater your love for others. I wear dark glasses all the time. I wear dark glasses in the rain. I wear dark glasses in the fog. Why? People like, why do you wear dark glasses? Other than we think you're Hollywood or something? No, my eyes see more light than other people's eyes. It hurts my eyes. I wear dark glasses because the light hurts my eyes. And so I wear dark glasses to have less light come into me. But on the other hand, I'm very good at seeing in the dark. I need only small amounts of light to see in the dark. The amount of light that enters my eye is genetically, well, NDE wise also, NDEers have this kind of after effect. I see more light than others physically. The more light you see inside yourself, the more light you see in others. It's that easy. Loving your human self and loving others are the byproducts of the quantity of light living within you. If you want to love yourself and love others, find and seek the light within you, and the exterior will take care of itself. Love is an aftergift of this primary connection. Now, in the epistle of 1 John and 2:8, this is what it says. This thing is true in Jesus and in you. The truth, with a capital T, is truth, capital T, in him and in us. Whoever says, I am the light, I am a Christian, I am a light worker, who hates races, people, or persons, who hates, is in darkness now. Whoever loves people or persons abide in the light and doesn't misstep. Whoever hates groups of people or individuals lives in the darkness and is lost and is blinded by the Maya veil, the illusion of darkness. This is in 1 John 2:8. This truth applies in life and in politics. If you say you hate, if you have hate in your heart, you don't have love in your heart. And you don't have light in your heart, because light and love are the same thing. They are not separate. If you want to learn to love others, to see the light inside others, see it inside yourself. And if you carry hate inside your heart, it's darkness. It's darkness. To hate is to have darkness. And those who say they're in the light but hate, 1 John says no. Knowing, gnosis, and light, photos, cannot be separated. So likewise, love and light cannot be separated. They are all one, capital O, all one and the same. Therefore, when you love your soul as much as the pupil of your eye, then you will love your neighbor as yourself. Do you want to love your neighbor? Learn to love yourself. And I'm not talking about the physical self. I'm talking about your higher self, your divine self, the redivination of your human body through the divine light itself, by realizing this is who you are. And how do we do this? Well, it's also simple. The way out is in. The light is now, always now. But how? How do we do this? How do we do this? Again, I said this a couple of weeks ago. Jesus is long on the what and pretty short on the how. But I'll help you see what he was actually saying in the Lord's Prayer next week through mystical eyes. He does cover this subject. And you're going to be surprised that the prayer that you may have said your whole life, it has a different meaning that you thought that it did. And we're going to glimpse into his interior life next week. We'll have a glimpse. He's showing himself to us next week. Jesus said, love your sibling like your own soul and look out for them like the pupil of your eye. This agape, divine love, this photos, divine light, these two are inseparable. When you seek the one, you find the other. Instead of seeking the gifts, seek the oneness, and these other after gifts come as a result. And how do we do this? We aim our heart there, aim our hearts and aim our minds. And if there's any difference between centering prayer and meditation of on singleness, on silence. It's simply the aim of the heart. I aim my heart to the divine as I aim for this singleness, capital S, singleness, this quietude. And how does this happen? It's the dissolving of yourself, this human self, dissolving of the egoic mind, the attachment to the egoic self. Notice how I always come back to the same subjects. Why do I come back to the same subjects week after week after week? Because Jesus is coming back to the same subjects week after week after week, saying after saying after saying, because the truth is quite simple. If you want to love others, learn to find your own soul. And when you find your own soul through quietude and silence, through energy, by opening your chakras and feeling the divine presence inside you as an energetic form, then you will learn to love others. It's a natural outgrowth of this. And it dissolves hate. The more the self is dissolved, the false self is dissolved, the more love flows, the more hate dissolves. So stop listening to the story you tell yourself about who you are and start listening to the one who whispers into your soul in that place that is above reason, ideas, thoughts, and words. Dive in. Dive in to learn silence of your thoughts, and then you will learn to love yourself. And you don't have to worry about loving your physical self. You learn to love your soul self because your soul self is actually made of love. And love is too small a word here. It's too tiny, but it's as close as I can come. And when you learn to love yourself, you will begin to cherish others because there is no separation in this space. How do we love others, our siblings like ourselves? By loving the singleness of our own self, capital S, because there is only singleness. And we are the many who are one. That is the divine truth. The many who are one. And we do this through self-dissolving attachment to our own story. So that when you look into the eyes of the other, through the apertures, through the pupil, you see yourself. But the self you see is the light of the divine that is inside you. As we learn to love ourselves, we learn to love others. It's not an intellectual choice. It's not a rational thing. It's not knowledge-based. It's divine presence inside you that you already are. It's not something new. It's something ancient, eons and eons old that you already are. The process is simply the unveiling of it. If you want to love another like yourself, dive inward, work not for the gifts, but for the giver. Don't seek enlightenment. Seek the divine presence. Enlightenment comes from that. Realization comes from that. Awakening comes from that. Let the gifts come on their own, and they will. If you want to love yourself, dive inside and find the truth of who you are. And then you will love yourself as naturally as the divine loves you, because there's no separation. So let me know your thoughts in the comments and in the chat. I'll take a look at the chat in a second. I'd like to know how you try to self-illuminate. I know how I do it. There are techniques all over the world. I'd like to know how you do it. How do you practice self-illumination? But not for the sake of your own grasping, but for the sake of the divine. So I want to thank you for spending time with me this morning. I hope this was helpful. If not, church feeds you, please subscribe and click like, especially if you've been checking out Not Church for a few weeks. I'm glad to be back live. Thanks for listening in last week while I was in Los Angeles. I'll talk about that at Mystic Tea today. And thank you. Thanks for your financial support. I really, literally can't be here without your financial support. Any amount helps a great deal. And I want to thank everybody who's been giving for so many years now. Thank you very much. Namaste. Super Chat, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, Patreon. Namaste, my friends. And you can find all these links, including an opportunity to have a private session with me at peterpanagore.love. Mystic Tea Salon is up at the next top of the hour, and come join the conversation. We have a few rules. They're humility, compassion, and kindness. And it's a safe place to talk about your spiritually transformative experiences among fellow mystics globally. We all carry a portion of the truth. That's the way it works. There are links below, and I want to thank our regular guest host, Dr. Kendall Gilligan, who hosted Mystic Chai Salon last week while I was in Los Angeles for my first face-to-face with my movie producers, and it was a fantastic success. All right, so I'm going to switch this over here and take a peek and see what's going on in the chat. I first saw, let's see, I love humans. They are very dear. A few problematic individuals get distance, but never hate. I wish them well. I don't like seeing people hurting each other. Yeah, me neither. You know, I'm in my Instagram feed. I don't know why this is happening, but I keep getting these videos, these short videos of people getting seriously hurt. You know, like falling off their bike and or motorcycle in front of a truck or falling off a cliff. It's crazy. I hate that. I do hate certain things. I hate to see suffering. It bothers me to the core of my being. Now, I can watch a movie where I know that the suffering is fake, but in real life or in a video of a real life person being hurt, oh my, it just hurts so much. It hurts so much. So I guess I do hate certain things. I hate to see suffering. It disturbs my soul. It causes me pain. I don't like to see people hurting each other either. Palladium's Triumph, thank you so much for this. It helped me, and I want to grow in self-illumination you spoke of. It's super simple. To get out, go in. That's it. And don't seek the gifts. Seek the giver. Seek the source itself. The gifts come as a result. And I would love to have you come back. We practice our meditation on Mondays and Tuesdays together on Zoom, on YouTube, and on Tuesdays on Zoom. And we do this in order to create a Sanga, a group, collective, because the divine energy is greater in the collective when we are together, and it helps us all deepen our journey faster. I don't try, but you have opened my eyes. Thank you, Candyman. Muchas gracias. Down there in Costa Rica. Over there in Costa Rica, Buckminster Fuller, this great thinker, he said, there's no up and down on earth, there's only across the surface. Over there in Costa Rica. You're welcome, Beth. Robert, for some reason with me, it's automatic. I read he has GOT, it means Gospel of Thomas. I dream, I seek, I do my best to bear fruit. The fruit will bear itself. The fruit bears itself. The roots in the soil and the light that enters the leaves and the water that is absorbed produce the fruit naturally. The fruits come naturally. They do. Letting the fruit bear, that's part of the process. But the fruit itself, the flowers blossom, the fruit grows when the plant is strong, when the roots are rooted, when they're connected and fed by the divine. That's how it works. Same. Hey, Ellen. Martha, I can't even watch violent movies. It causes me such pain. No, I hear you. I do. I hear you. It's awful. But those live videos of people really getting hurt. Peter had an epiphany 2 days ago. My black-capped chickadee friend Carl ate out of your hand for eating this. Nice. Chickadees are like the bravest little bird there are with such big heart. I'm so glad to hear that. Chickadee is sort of my, well, it's not sort of, it's my power animal, my animal spirit. Stephanie, hi Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie, Episcopal priest. I love your observation that we don't need to seek enlightenment, but we rather seek the divine presence within. Enlightenment just naturally blooms from that. That is the thing. Enlightenment comes as a result of this. The only effort is the elimination of self. That's what happens. This is true. This is what Jesus himself, this is what he was teaching. This is what was lost at the Council of Nicaea, as I've said before, that he was teaching the inward way. And he didn't come for the salvation of all humanity through his death by an abuse of God. He came to show that death is not real. He allowed himself to die and to rise again to show, to prove that death is not real. And he taught the inward way. You are like me. You will do greater works than I do, he said, as recorded in the Gospels anyway. Enlightenment is a more natural derivative. Perfect. Exactly so. Exactly so. Pauline, good to see you back. Thank you. Glad to be. Had a great success. Yeah, it was really great. I'll talk about it at Mystic Tea. There is a link below if you want to attend. Do you have a calendar that lists all of the programs and meetings that you provide so we can plan to join them? I do have that on my website, peterpanagore.love, under programs. But basically, it's Sundays at 10 Eastern Time, Sundays at 11, Sundays at 10 Eastern Time for this live, and then live on Zoom at 11, and then Mondays and Tuesdays at 8 a.m. Eastern, and Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Eastern, and Tuesdays at 9 a.m. on Zoom. And yes, you better check my website so I don't screw it up on you. It's there under programs. And am I blushing for making that mistake again? You can block these videos. You can block those videos. Why would I block what? Oh, yes. Oh, I can block those videos on Instagram. That's what you're saying. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, I will do that. Yeah, it's like crazy watching. Oh, my illumination experiences come not by pressing outward, but rather by being still and inviting the bliss to flow within me, says Brother Ed. This is the way it works. It works this way for everyone. Some videos may need to be reported. Thank you. Katie Cat. Katie Cat. I got it. Katie Cat. Michael, I touch the silence within, which is beyond my human dualities and never. I'm sorry, I'm going to read that again. I touch the silence within, which is beyond my human dualities, and find peace and the river, never enough light. Never enough light. Because light is infinite. We can't ever have the fullness of it, and it is beyond our reason and our understanding, but very experiential. Living in the presence now. I'm never now without it. It's always within me, always around me, always visible, always with me, even in my poor decisions, even when I don't like myself sometimes. It doesn't eliminate the light itself. That is a permanent thing. It's permanent in the universe. It's permanent in the infinity with a capital P. And it can be permanent in you. It's permanent in your core of your being, but it can be permanent in your experience. Margaret, I take a walk in the woods every morning and have done so for 30 years and often stop simply to say, I love you to God. The love connects me. Walking in nature, finding love, saying, I love you, God. The process is simple. It's not complex and involves no dogma and no doctrine. It's just love. Let's see what else we got on. It's so beautiful. Robert and Martha, I agree with the dislike of the harsh videos and also music and unkind situations. Try to make the best of everything, always trying to go a path to forgiveness and what the father, mother would approve of. Welcome home. I'm getting a passcode for a prompt for Mystic Tea Salon, and you can't get in. So the passcode is humility. I had to change the passcode because we got bombed. So if you have an old passcode, try the new one. The link should still be the same, and I'll be double checking that in a minute just to make sure. And hey, Kendall, thanks for calling me earlier. I know that you were calling me about the voice, which is why I was like, oh, I forgot to turn on the mic. But I want to thank you for that, brother, looking out for me. All right. I think we've chit-chatted enough here today. Does anybody else have anything they want to bring up? I'll wait a moment here. I might have missed something in the chat here. I'll wait a moment to see what's there, but mostly I'll see you at the top of the hour. And thank you. For being here. I'm going to spend a moment here and do a little Shakipat. Hold on. Here we go. I have no goal with Shaktipat other than to send out heaven from me, that channels into me that isn't mine. I'm just a channel of the divine. See you at the top of the hour. You're welcome, Robert. Thanks for being here. Peace and love, everybody. See you soon. Mystic Tea Salon. I'll double check everything before we open up. Peace. Namaste.